Ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing? Matthews here from M&F FOREX Traders. I hope you're doing great. I'm back again with another beautiful video for you guys. Another trading psychology video. I hope you find this helpful. So today we're going to dive into why losses tend to be painful, right? So if you've been trading for a while now, you must have experienced some emotional pain when a trade goes against you or when you lose a particular trade. So what do you think causes that? So watch the video to the end for you to find out why that happens. All right, let's go. So why should a trade that has failed be perceived as painful? Okay, so normally you're not supposed to feel like that, right? The only reason why you would actually experience some form of pain when a trade goes against you is when you have expectations attached to that particular trade or those series of trades. So when you realize that when you have unrealistic expectations attached to that particular trade, when that trade goes against you, it's not just any trade. That trade will include all the expectations you expected from that particular trade. Probably the risk and reward ratio was, let's say, 1 to 10. You're risking $100 to make $1,000, and already in your mind you were thinking how much you could do with that $1,000 that you were potentially going to make. You are thinking of that phone that you wanted to get, or you're thinking of buying yourself something from the same money which is not yet realized. Okay, you are thinking of paying rent with that money that you're going to make. So you've got these unrealistic expectations that you've attached to that particular trade. So when that trade goes against you, it's no longer just one trade or those two trades. That trade carries with it all those expectations. Therefore, when it fails, it becomes emotionally painful. You have emotional pain, which is caused not because of the loss of a trade, but because of disappointment from the expectation that you expecting from this particular trade. So to start with, every trader has undergone these periods where the losing trade feels like the end of the world, and most of the time this is due to what? Unrealistic expectations that the trader attaches that particular trade or those series of trades. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been perceived as painful. Okay, so this therefore tells us that to manage our expectations. So we're supposed to manage our expectations because deep down our hearts we know that anything can happen in these markets, but somehow we choose to ignore that fact. Somehow we think we know what's going to happen on a particular trade, right? Somehow we think we know that trade is going to win, or else we wouldn't be putting on that trade, right? But deep down we know that at any particular time anything can happen. Anything, even the setup that won yesterday, you can take it today, it can still lose. The setup you took in the morning can make you money to right now, but in the afternoon, take the same setup, it can still make you lose, right? What's the catch? It's all about probability. We have no control over what's going to happen in the market. We have no control over outcome. Therefore, it will be unrealistic of us to expect a system which is run by probability to give us results as we want. So we cannot expect the market to give us just because we have a setup that has worked previously, and we should expect that this trade is going to win right now. So once you have that unfulfilled expectation, that will cause you to have pain, to feel disappointment, to feel like you are worthless, like you don't think like maybe you're not any good, right? So the solution is simple. Don't attach anything to that particular trade. Understand that at any particular time, that trade can be a winner, and at any particular time, that trade can actually be a loser, right? You should actually internalize, practice this. Make sure that when you enter in a trade, tell yourself, I don't know what's going to happen on this particular trade, but I know when I take this trade setup hundreds of times, I'm going to be profitable. Therefore, there will be no need of you trying to actually over risk on a particular trade with hope that it's going to go in your favor. You won't be able to do that because you will know better that you don't have control over outcome. So these are the beliefs, these are core beliefs that we are supposed to actually engrave in us. These are supposed to be in us as traders. Otherwise, if you think you would know when the trade is going to be in your favor, I don't know. I don't know about that. Maybe you know, but to be honest, most of us retail traders don't know unless you have inside information, right? So to avoid having those emotional pain, I know it's not just me who has experienced this. I know hundreds of traders have experienced these things I'm talking about right now. Therefore, this is one of the solutions that can actually help you to prevent yourself from going through those emotional roller coaster, right? So please don't attach any expectation. And talking about that, please make sure you are able to trade with the money that you are comfortable losing. Don't trade with rent money. Don't trade with money that you cannot afford to lose. Don't trade with scared money. Okay? Otherwise, the emotions are going just to be waste because you can't really afford to lose that money. So make sure that you are trading with the money that you are willing to lose. Please understand that and be able to implement and execute your trade flawlessly. So this leads us to the second point. So the other reason that you might be having emotional pain or emotional discomfort or feeling worthless after a losing trade or after a series of losing trades is because you are not thinking in probabilities. You are not thinking in probabilities, right? So just like I've talked about in the previous slide, as traders, we should actually internalize this concept in us. We have no control over what's going to happen. First of all, you need to have an edge, right? You need to have a strategy that has shown to have a positive expectancy over a series of trades. It can have 60%, 70%, 50%, 45%, maybe 30%, right? I don't know how much your system has. So whatever the win rate your system has, there's no way to know how many wins or losses you're going to have in a row. You have no idea. Those wins and those losses are going to come randomly, right? So if you understand that, you will never know which one is going to be a winner and which one is going to be a loser. Why would you start feeling pain when you lose a trade? Doesn't make any sense, right? So you must be able to adopt a series of trade mindset where you think in probabilities. So if you think in probabilities, then therefore there will be no need of you to try on over risk on that particular trade or to try and attach any expectations on that particular trade, because you know that at any particular time anything can happen. So you need to have a probabilistic mindset where you are thinking of a series of trades rather than on a trade by trade basis. If you think in terms of trade by trade basis, you are thinking about paying your rentals on this particular trade, or getting yourself a car on this particular trade, right? Or buying yourself anything on that particular trade. When you know that you have no idea what's going to happen. Of course, we have a positive expectancy over a series of trades. I'm assuming you have a strategy that has shown that. And please, if you don't have a strategy, please then find a strategy that you can actually work with, right? Something that resonates with you, something that you're comfortable with. So that's very, very important. And mind you, that doesn't need to have 80%, 90% win rate, because most successful traders don't even have such. So if you have something like 50%, 60%, that's okay. And then work on executing. Make sure that you don't violate your rules. Follow your rules religiously and keep on taking the trade. No matter how many losses you have in a row, continue taking the trade, because when the winning trade is going to come, it's going to cater for all that, assuming you have a proper risk to reward ratio. Also, I advise that you find a system that offers a better risk to reward ratio, at least 1 to 5 and above, so that you can absorb all those losses by just winning 1 or 2 trades, right? So think in probabilities. If you think in probabilities, there will be no way you try and over risk or have any expectations on a trade by trade basis, because you have no idea. You can have 3 losses in a row, you can have 3 wins in a row, you can have 10 wins in a row, and you can even have 10 losses in a row. It's possible. So there'll be no need of you to attach any emotions to that particular trade. Nothing. So please, traders should learn to accept and internalize the fact that we have no control over outcome, and the only thing that we have control over is how we execute our trades, how we manage our risks, and how we manage our trades when it's going in our direction. Those are the things that we have control over, and we really need to believe in that. Otherwise, if you continue to look at winning trades, as losing trades as bad and winning trade as good, in actual sense, considering you have an edge, losing and winning is actually all probability. We have no control over that. So when a trade goes in your favor, it doesn't mean that you actually good and pump yourself up like, nah, I knew it's going to go in my direction. It's probability. And if a trade goes against you, it doesn't mean that you are wrong or you are bad. I'm assuming you have an edge, which is simply a higher probability of one thing happening over another over a series of trades. Assuming you have that system in place, then your only job is to execute flawlessly. That's the only thing that you're supposed to do, because you have no control over what's going to happen on a trade by trade basis. However, you make yourself a winner by sticking through those losses, respecting your risk management, respecting your trading plan every time. Because the moment you deviate from a trade, from your system, or the moment you fail to take a particular trade that meets your criteria, and you end up realizing that that particular trade actually worked out, and if you had taken a particular trade, you'd have recovered all your losses. But you didn't take it. Why? Because you were scared. You got emotional. You couldn't let probability take its course. Let it play out. Okay? Let it play out. Remember that you have no control of what's going to happen in the market. I'm talking to the retail traders right here. If you are a smart money, if you are an institution or a hedge fund that manages a lot of money, maybe you might have some control. But as traders, I think we have less than It's less than 5% control, no matter how many of us are trading. So remember that, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to the next slide. Poor risk management. This one is big. Okay, so usually you have those emotional pain or emotional discomfort that you feel after a losing trade. And I don't think anyone would be really upset if they lost 1% of their account. I don't think anyone would be, someone who's trained, a trained trader, I don't think they'll be upset or feel any sort of pain after losing 1% of their account. I don't think it will be painful unless you have unrealistic expectations attached to that particular trade, or you over risk on that particular trade. There's no need of over risking on the particular trade. There's no need of us trying to over risk on any trade. Why? It's simple. Like I've said previously, we don't know what's going to happen in the market. We have no idea what's going to happen in the market. Therefore, if you use poor risk management, if you try to over risk, you try to make so much money on that particular trade. But if it goes against you, then you're going to have even more emotional pain, because initially you didn't accept and internalize that risk. Therefore, you are prone to having those emotions, right? So what am I trying to say here? We should respect risk management and have a probabilistic mindset, and we shouldn't have any expectations from the market. Our job should only be able to execute flawlessly following our trading plan. The outcome is going to take care of itself, assuming again you have a trading plan, a strategy that has shown positive expectancy over a series of trades. That's how we are supposed to trade. All right, so there should be no emotional pain associated with taking a calculated risk or loss, because you initially accepted it prior to taking the trade. Often what we see as traders is that we don't predefine our risk, and therefore we expect a particular trade to actually win. Well, in this industry where we have no control over outcome, that's actually something that will actually exacerbate you feeling that emotional pain. So the goal is to be able to trade without any expectation. We trade while risking risking between 1 to 3% of our account, or whatever we're comfortable losing on a particular trade. Like I always put it, ask yourself before taking any particular trade, how much am I willing to lose in order to find out if this trade is going to win or lose? That's the question that you're supposed to ask yourself before you take any particular trade, right? So it's very, very important. Losing streaks are going to happen. Like last week we had a lot of losing trades, about 6 losing trades. Take this trade, it goes into a loser. Take this trade, goes into a loser. Those are going to come. So what determines whether you're going to survive at the end of that losing streak is your risk management. If you are not respecting your risk management, by the time you're taking the third, fourth loss, you'd have lost your account, because you become emotional. You start to over risk, and what ends up happening is that you end up blowing your whole account. You should not let 2 or 3 losses in a row affect, like, make so much impact on your account, right? We should always respect risk management, because at any particular time, whatever system you are using, it may undergo a losing streak. In the same way, it's capable of undergoing a winning streak. You have to understand that, ladies and gentlemen. We really need to understand that. So this is what I wanted to share with you guys. I'm sharing these things because these are things that I struggled with as well. These are the issues that I still struggle with right now. Therefore, I thought of sharing with you guys so that you could also get some insight on these matters, because these are very, very important if your plan is to become a consistently profitable trader. This is very, very important. Remember, you can have a good system. However, if your trading psychology is not in the right place, you will lose, and no system will ever be adequate. You will keep on changing system, forgetting that you are the weakest link in your trading system. And most of the time, it's actually the case. Why? Because we are emotional beings. Trading psychology is very, very, very important. So I hope you find value in this. If you do, please let us know in the comment section. Like the video, also subscribe. Make sure that you hit that bell notification so you get to be notified every time we drop such valuable content. You guys, until next time, goodbye.